We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Do I have a motion to move into executive?
I so move.
I'll have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. We're going to go into a closed session. We'll be back shortly.
24 hours.
All right, we're going to go ahead and start this meeting. We have nothing to vote on in closed meeting. We're going to go ahead and start with agenda item number 1. Action taken, I'm sorry, number 2. General Manager's report.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I have one item just before the financial report. We did get an award from the National Committee for Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve. They recognize PUB as a patriotic employer. This recognition is sponsored by the National Committee for Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve, the Department of Defense Committee. The Patriotic Employee Award was established to recognize sacrifices made to employers, and to honor those companies which have gone the extra mile to support reservists and their families. This is an outstanding recognition because it symbolizes the quality of our employees and their deep commitment to freedom. Our employees who serve in the National Guard and Reserve make a tremendous sacrifice during the times of national need. We've got 3 employees that have served Eusebio Rodriguez, the Water and Wastewater Department. He served from 2001 to 2002 in Oklahoma, 2005 and 2006 in Iraq, and right now he's on the border mission. Robert Avila with the power supply, from 2002 to 2003 in North Carolina. Julio Monita, Water and Wastewater, 2001 to 2002 in Oklahoma, 2005 to 2006 in Iraq, and he's currently 06 in the border mission. Just want to recognize those employees and their commitment. I don't know if Robert, are you here? Robert is in the back, so. I'll ask Leon to do our financial report. Quick.
Mr. Chairman, Mayor, members of the board, my name is Leandro Garcia. I'm the Director of Finance and Chief Financial Officer for Brownsville PUB. I'll do a quick review here of the highlights of financial performance as of June 30, 2006. This first slide, I'm just going to go over here. The net operating revenues year to date are $135,760,881. Adding in other revenues, interest, and other non-operating income, we're at the gross revenue level of $142,574,466 through June. To arrive at the base for calculating the state transfer, we back out fuel and energy costs, wholesale energy expenses, and contributions to Southmost, which nets out the revenues to $73,388,200, and that is what we use to calculate the city transfer, which has been calculated at $7,388,000, 10%. On the O&M side, total expenses are $31,075,000 through June. Adding in debt service and other requirements, total requirements are $48,727,000. Comparing this to the $73 million in net revenues, we're left with a balance available to surplus of $21,152,905. The city, after netting the gross revenue calculation, the city transfer, after netting CLB usage of $3,507,000, will be transferred $3,831,482. The balance available to PUB is $17,321,000. The total being $21,152,000 through June. The breakdown of the balance to PUB into the 5 categories that we budgeted for. First one being the operating reserve addition. We budgeted $1 million for the fiscal year. We're at $750,033 through June. The operating sub-account, this is a fuel adjustment sub-account that we established at $4 million. We're at $3,033. Our CIP project funding, we started off the year with $10,700,000 budgeted. We're at $8,025,000. Our improvement reserve fund, our annual $3 million contribution towards a 5-year, $15 million goal is $2,250,000 as of June. And then we have surplus revenues that fall into the improvement fund as the last bucket of $3.2 million. For comparative purposes here, we compare our actual activity to current budget as well as last year actual through the same time period. Our net operating revenues of $135 million or $23.5 million more than we budgeted through June, or 20%, 20.9%, and $35.7 million above last year's realized revenues through June. Our gross revenues, after adding in the investments and other operating revenues, are $142.6 million, which exceed our budgeted scheduled revenues by $26.1 million. And our actual realized revenues through last June of 2005 by $37.8 million. Adjusted gross revenues also exceed budgeted and last year activity. Budgeted $5.9 million, and compared to last year, we're ahead $13.1 million. As everyone knows, fuel and energy costs continue to be one of the biggest requirements for PUB. Through the end of June, we have incurred $52.9 million for our base load fuel and energy cost, a difference of $7.7 million compared to what we budgeted through June at $45.2, and $14.9 million compared to last year activity. O&M expense, we do continue to stay under budget. Through June, we're still at $900,000 under budget, 28.5 actual compared to 29.4 budgeted. And somewhat over $2.6 million our 2005 actual activity. Balance available, as I mentioned earlier, $21.2 million. We're exceeding our projected budget by $5.7 million, and our last year actual by $7.2 million. The breakdown is provided here also. What's available to PUB, $17.2 million, and $3.8 million COB cash transfer. The contributions by each utility here on the $21 million, $15.37 come from electric, $2.08 million come from water, and $3.7 million from wastewater, all exceeding the budgeted projections as well as last year's actions. This next few graphs show the historical trend beginning from October on consumption. This first one shows electric consumption. Our month of June ended up providing 110 million in kWh consumption, slightly under the 113 from 2005, but nonetheless an increase from May and April. On the water side, we kind of stayed flat there between May and June at about 594, 597 thousand gallons. Slightly under our 624 actual numbers, 624,000 from 2005. Same thing with wastewater. We saw an increase of wastewater flows from May, going from 363,000 gallons to 394,000 in June. Activity on our capital expenditures here. We did have an approved CIP spending plan for the year of $39.9 million. We're right now at a 50% threshold, $20,008,398. The majority of the cost here, major portion here is 60%, has been activity in electric, $12,053,426, with water and wastewater representing about 18.5% at $3.7 million for water and $3.6 million for wastewater. And that is that concludes our financial presentation.
Any questions for Mr. Garcia?
Yes, Mr. Garcia. On the check register, I got a question. If I get page. On tab 2, page 12. Tab 2, page 12. Could you give us some insight on that check number 95,728 and 95,729?
These are personnel related settlements. I don't know if we can disclose the details, but they were disbursements concerning. In some cases, the settlement is arranged to where the law firms and the individual are receiving the check as paid. So in this case, there was some settlement agreement that dictated who the checks went to.
Those were lawsuits that we settled as part of the lawsuit that we presented to the board.
Would it be better to tell me the details later, or
Executive.
or can you do it right now?
Frankly, I can't tell you right now because I don't know that I was the one that was actually involved in this settlement.
Maybe they should have put it in executive.
Mr. Sanchez, I can find out for you the details of that lawsuit.
I'd appreciate it, thank you.
I will.
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
All right. We're going to move on to item number 3, audience with a representative of Brownsville Crime Stoppers, Mr. Robert Sanchez.
Yes, I wanted to put this on the agenda, a little thank you from a member of the Brownsville Crime Stoppers of Brownsville. I'm fortunate to be a board member of the Brownsville Crime Stoppers, and Chief Garcia of the Brownsville Police Department was here waiting, but we apologize, executive session was a little long and the chief had to get back to work. And he's, appreciates what the PUB has done for Brownsville Crime Stoppers. But this evening, Mr. Beto Medrano, and Beto, if you could go to the podium, that'd be nice. Mr. Beto Medrano, ex-Brownsville police officer and a BISD teacher, well-known in the Brownsville community, is a member of the Brownsville Crime Stoppers, and he's been there for many years. And Mr. Beto Medrano, we appreciate him coming here and talking on behalf of the Crime Stoppers and here with the Public Utility Board. Beto?
Thank you, Robert, and thank you, Mr. Campirano, for putting me on the top of the agenda. Huh? I'm
You didn't have a choice.
okay, but anyway, as you can see, I apologize for my attire. I have a hairline fracture on my toe. It's not that I don't respect you people that could have been in a coat and tie, but I saw Mr. Cardenas. He's a prominent member of the community. I said, well, if he's like that, I could be like that too, so let's be cool. I served with the Texas Board of Pardons and Parole, and Governor George Clemens will not give us a break. You out the coat and tie, you get fired. At least tonight I won't get fired. And I have my PUB membership, Mr. Campirano. I have my mother's electrical bill paid so I can so they don't have to disconnect. In other words, I've heard some stories, but I'm not going to mention that tonight. We're going to go with what I came here for. I'm representing the Crime Stoppers of Brownsville. I am a proud member of the Crime Stoppers of Brownsville, and the president, Mr. Jim Led, authorized me to come over and thank you guys. And I want to thank you for allowing us to put the Crime Stoppers stickers on all your vehicles. I try to get some of you, all of the Crime Stoppers stickers, but then we're out of them. We're poor chapter, and we're also asking for donations at the end of the meeting. And so he said, okay, you can go over there and ask for all the kinds of stuff. We made history last month, July. I still can't remember what months I lived, but it was in July. For the first time in the history of Crime Stoppers, and I would believe in the city of Brownsville County, we had the BISD police officer, Chief of Police Oscar Garcia. We have Carlos Garcia, the Brownsville Police Chief, and then we had Omar Lucio for the first time ever, because the other sheriff, he didn't believe in our meeting. He had his own fundraiser program, and we suffered from that. Now we have teamwork, and I was so elated that I said, this is really history. This is history in the making. And because of my big mouth, the president, Jim Bless, said, you go represent us and thank the board. So that's why I'm here today. Not for any other reason, but for that. Mostly I speak for the school teachers at BISD, and I don't, this is the first time I've ever been here. I really thought I'd been here before. I see you guys sometimes on TV, but this is the first time. It's an honor to be here. And I know that Mayor Trevino is thankful that Chief Garcia went back to work because he's on the payroll. And we don't want the Torres to come over here and think he's not working, my friend. Anyway, you guys really do a good job. You're on candid camera all the time, whether you're the insurgents or not the insurgents or the terrorists or whatever you're called. Some people see him with stickers, but I do want to thank Mr. Campirano because everything he touches turns to gold. The cable, second baseman, outstanding baseball player, Mr. PUB himself, and all you guys. All you guys have a lot to offer, and I certainly want to thank Robert Sanchez for putting us on the agenda. My duty when I was appointed by Gilbert, recommended by Gilbert Taylor, he's done past now, but he said for me to do the best job I possibly could. And I did that by, I wanted to name 3 people, 3 board members, and I named Tony Villarreal. I don't know if it's any relation to you, but he's a great coach, and he had to go on to Westlaco, and then I said, well, I'm going to name a second one, and I nominated and appointed, we appointed Robert Sanchez, and he's done an outstanding job. And I believe he's done here, an outstanding job here and wherever he serves, and I think everything he touched turns to gold. He touched Captain Bob, and now he's got 4 or 5 of them. And so he's a businessman. I know that he's a hard-working man, and that's why I wanted to come here and say, we need 10 more like him. If you know of anybody, the audience, anywhere, maybe we're going to ask Mr. Lara. We need 10 Robert Sanchez because he's doing an outstanding job, not only here, but over there. And I was very glad that I was appointed because I seem to know everybody on the table. And I went to the doctor today and treated me for the hairline fracture and busting my nail, my toenail. She said, Mr. Verano, you're not taking care of yourself. Yes, I am. It's PUB's fault. That's why. Because when I got the bill from PUB, I tried to kick the dog. And I missed and I hit the kitchen table. And as a result of this, so I want to ask you guys to please be conscious of the fact that we're hurting out there, and the reason I want to pay the bill is I can save some gasoline money, and I don't have to come back. And really, the new appointments, I know Robert Guerra too and El Garrial. I suspect to see Oscar Garcia here. I guess he's gone. I've seen him enough in my lifetime. But I do want to thank the mayor and.
We want to thank you, Mr. Medrano, for coming, and thank you for the donuts that you brought for everybody.
Yes, I did. 5 dozen of donuts. Thank you very much. You're going to be my sponsor next time. 5 dozen of donuts from Holy One. They believe in you, even though you're a little bit high on the PUB rate, but they believe in you, and I believe in you. That's why I'm paying you ahead, so you won't disconnect. And call me first if I'm out of town, so I can come and pay you. Or I owe you.
Mr. Medrano, I think Eduardo Campirano had another request, Eddie, you had mentioned earlier.
Well, the only comment is that.
He told us he didn't have stickers.
When you do get more stickers, we do need some more because we did.
Definitely, we're going to make some more. I think Carlos Garcia is going to donate from his race, the chief, and he's going to give us some more. He didn't know this yet, but
Maybe
for
your
leaving.
wealthy board members that can
this crew, we'll hit somebody for it.
You can hit
Maybe
Robert.
you're the city, the mayor, or so you don't know about it, but we'll go there.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
We're gonna go on to item number 4, consideration and approval resolution to appoint a depository bank for Brownsville Public City Board's funds. Mr. Garcia.
Yes, and I have a presentation, a brief presentation on this. Just a few objectives here. The Bank Depository Services Agreement is an important component of our cash management function here at PUB. We do look at prioritizing some key features of safety and security of funds and investments, preservation of capital, meeting the requirements of our investment policy, as well as meeting all Texas local government codes requirements concerning the public funds collateral act. On June 14th, we received 5 proposals after having contacted or mailed out packages to 9, Bank of America, First National, JP Morgan Chase, Texas State Bank, and Wells Fargo. This new agreement will take us for another 2 years, from October 1 of this year through September 30th of 2008. And we are providing 3 one-year continuation provisions as well under this contract.
Before you go any further, then I will.
Yes, sir.
You had 5, but originally you only had 1 to respond, is that right?
We had the initial deadline, I believe it was May 31st, with 1 respondent, and after revisiting one of the items in the RFP where we kind of had the opportunity to either rebid or extend the response deadline, we did opted to extend it
So
through
it's all legal
14.
what you did.
Yes.
Okay, but there's only 1 that responded. So obviously, I don't know, maybe we're doing something wrong communicating to the interested parties that they need to submit their bid in time, because it's not fair to that 1, I don't know which one it was, but that 1 who responded timely. If he took the trouble to get everything prepared for you, and then it's continued, I don't think, you know.
We did consider
So I think-
the ramifications of going with 1 bid versus trying to get more competitive proposals out here. We did
Nobody questions.
ensure the PUB.
Nobody questions the legality, but we gotta do something to do better to educate people that are interested. They need to respond in time.
I agree.
We're not extending deadlines, and it's not fair to those who do prepare whatever they gotta submit for the bid.
I wholeheartedly agree that we need a more proactive approach to making sure we have good contact information from
Because
the
what if
various
I was gonna
vendors.
get-
And
what if I'm the only bidder and I took the time, then I should have done it. If the deadline,
yeah, but you mentioned that legally we were within our right, and we were. You know, based on the RFP, we had the opportunity to rebid or to accept 1 bid, and we did want to provide to the board, a competitive list of vendors and try to get the best value for
I just want to get the word out, or something, we gotta do something.
We'll work with our purchasing to make sure we have more respondents. Few of the requirements in the RFP, we're looking for a firm that's capable of providing the services we need at a reasonable cost, that allows us to meet all the obligations of the Texas Local Government Code, that would be willing to be attentive and responsive to our needs, both financially and technological, and that demonstrated financial strength and stability. From the onset, we did establish 10 key criteria for evaluating each proposal, assigning weights to each of the criteria based on the least to most important to the selection, with a maximum points of 140 to be gained from the evaluation. A few features here we have as 5 weighing high, where the ability to perform and provide all of the requested services, the cost of service, and then we had some other 3s that weigh 3s, and completeness of bid or financial strength, and then down to some 1s here. Basically, we had 15 services that we're requiring to be responded by. Everything from online services to lockbox to same-day credit. Our focus with evaluation of these services was placed on fraud prevention measures as well as technology responses. We are We work on positive pay, number 4, for example, which is fraud prevention, post-notes checks, number 7, another fraud prevention, ACH debit blocking, number 6, and then a few others listed in number 14. We did have 10 additional services that we asked the vendors to respond to, such as payroll cards, bank errors, check conversion, online payments that weren't actually designated as required, but we did get some positive feedback from our responses on those as well. Additional requirements, just meeting collateral requirements pursuant to our investment policy and the state statutes. Safekeeping services, when we go out and buy securities, we need to make sure that we have third-party services for safekeeping, overdraft provisions. Other stipulations, we did include an array of requirements here pertaining to communications between the vendor and PUB, as well as IT requirements. We want to handle communications as timely, as efficiently, as automated as we can on a daily basis, whether it pertains to wires or some other transaction analysis. IT requirements, we are looking forward to automating, continuing automation of processes. We're looking at discontinuing any manual type of processes, so we were looking for about a dozen IT requirement related items. To assess the services, we provided 15 categories of general category fees ranging from account maintenance to wire transfers to information services. Some of the biggest components here in each vendor's proposals pertain to lockbox services as well as branch teller services, being that those are the volume-driven type of services. Some of the other monthly services are pretty much comparable, but as we get into the fees, the lockbox and the branch teller were key components of their monthly fee packages. We also asked for them to provide their approach to providing PUB with an earnings credit and interest earnings on sweep accounts. We have an option of maintaining interest-bearing accounts or no interest-bearing accounts with the banks, and one way to mitigate fees is through an earnings credit. And we did ask for different banks for the banks to provide us with their methodology, their indexing numbers that we're indexing just to set the rates. In this example, for example, we did provide some comparable balances, 6.2 million and 14 million, for them to calculate the earnings credit and sweep accounts. I'm going to get into here the pros and cons of the 5 proposals and then get into the recommendation. This first one, Wells Fargo Bank, did respond to all the required services. They did demonstrate technologically advanced fraud prevention services. Their earnings credit rate was adjusted upward. They're basing it on the 91-day T-bill plus 25 basis points, so that's a little bit more earnings potential there. They were able to respond to all the IT requirements. We do have some previous banking service. Of course, our con was we're used to paying low fees or no fees, so we are paying $8,270, or they are proposing that monthly fee. JP Morgan Chase, along the same lines, did respond to all the required services. They did discuss their technological advanced fraud prevention services, all IT requirements. They did throw in or offer $10,000 in new supplies as we transition into their services. And we do have previous banking services. Their monthly fee was slightly higher, $12,406. Bank of America, the biggest con here was they did not respond to our lockbox service requirements. We do have a relationship with them. They were offering a 3-month account analysis service fee waiver with $15,000 towards supplies. And then they did offer a program for PUB employees. First National Bank offered to provide us all their services free of charge except for their lockbox and credit card services. Their lockbox service, if selected, would be $2,585. Their earnings rate was favorable, 13-week treasury bill, and we do have a current relationship with them. Some of the weaknesses here, the shortfalls were they can't provide at this time the ACH debit blocking that we're looking for fraud prevention measures. They're cut off for the same day credit. They couldn't meet the 4 p.m. extended deadline, and then they were short in meeting all of the IT requirements. Texas State Bank, although they provided the lowest monthly fee, $3,554 with the exception of First National, it reflects, of course, that them not meeting all of the service requirements, which here we have a few cons. Their biggest one, of course, was that their fees were subject to change. They were not going to remain fixed during the contract term. And then they fell short in providing some of the other requirements. All in all, our scoring resulted in Wells Fargo coming in with 113.5 points, of the total 140. JP Morgan second, 108. Bank of America 101.4. First National 98, and Texas State Bank at 79. Our recommendation tonight is to bring the board a recommendation to allow us to select the best value services. We did meet with the Finance Committee last Wednesday, August 9th, and had some discussion concerning services and the proposals, and I believe they did support at that point staff's recommendation.
It was unanimous.
So with that, I'll leave it up to the board.
Let me ask a quick question on that hypothetical, where you figure out what it's going to cost or what they're going to earn. How does that relate to that amount of $82.70 a month?
The way this works is that we have a potential here of earning a credit with a bank which will offset the monthly fees. That $23,000 here, or $23,110 will offset the $8,000 fee.
What's been the net up to this point?
We are paying currently $0 for our services with our current provider. So with this,
How much are we earning right now?
we're earning very good market rates.
About 23, give or take.
Well, but what we're doing is we're managing our earnings potential by diversifying. Here, for hypothetical, we didn't include 6.2 million, but we would proactively maintain a balance here just to earn enough to offset the fees. We can yield higher returns if we go with our pool investments or with our agency securities. So in this case, we would strive to yield a credit that would offset just the fee and not leave any money on the table. We yield higher returns with going through our pools, Texas Term, Texas Pool, as well as buying agency securities, Freddie Macs, and on the open market that our agency related securities, and right now providing up to 5.32% of a yield.
Was this on an RFQ or RFP?
This was an RFP.
So that allows us the opportunity to negotiate, does it not? It should. Anybody want to answer that?
Yeah.
It should, okay.
An RFP, yes. We could bring back some of the vendors to the table and
Well, I
see
mean,
what their wishes
if
are.
the board goes with your recommendation, where you can negotiate a better monthly fee. That's what I'm thinking.
Just to get a feel here, to earn the equivalent, to offset the fee, we would probably just need to maintain $2.5 million. The remaining $3 million plus $4 million, we can invest.
Go back to renegotiate when we have to rebid.
This is probably I don't want to plead attorney here, but it's probably, I don't know if we have room for negotiation.
That should have been in.
That's what I'm saying, that's in the RFP. It usually is.
These are the fees they
The
propose.
criteria was outlined at the beginning there, based on that, they compared everybody, the recommendation. It was based on the basis point, it was higher, based on all the other amenities that we're getting, the
Well,
rates.
This 497, like you say, was favorable because they're adding 25 basis points on top of the 91-day T-bill, which is more earnings potential. They're indexing pretty much the same rate, the 91-day T-bill or 13-week.
But he's got 25.
And some of them kept it flat, some of them actually reduced it, minus 25%. Wells Fargo,
They took it from the fees over here, either deducted or increased.
well, it's a way of offsetting fees.
I mean, we looked at it and.
I don't disagree, Pat, it's just normally on an RFP, you go with
My
whatever
concern
the
was the
recommendation is.
RFP, people are not,
Because this is professional services also.
I think the other thing is that PP does a real good job in sweeping their accounts and investing in everything. They're not, public depositories in the past have kept, 30 million, 40 million, 50 million in a money market account, or this, there's a very efficient use of money. $2 million, you have all these deposits to pay for the services. That's the addition of the fraud prevention technology features, which is the hottest thing right now. I mean, you can get zapped for $100,000 and be stuck with that. So you have to, it's really a kind of offense and defense, with these bids.
And that was exactly our experience back in January.
All the
February.
bids are good, and all the banks are good. It just comes down to the subjective analysis.
The highest return.
So what is staff recommendation?
Wells Fargo, based on their points awarded, based on the criteria.
But you also have a renewal option of 3 years without bringing it to the board, is that right?
We'll bring the renewal options to the board. We'll have the first 2 years and then 3 1 year. We'll come back to the board.
Now, if for any reason you have problems with service, it becomes a great concern to you. At the end of the year, you make us aware of that. We can go back to RFPs again.
Absolutely,
Do
absolutely.
you have something there?
One of the challenges we'll place on Wells Fargo is I'm very focused on the IT requirements. I want to improve our automation. I want to improve as best as we can our interfacing with the bank and minimize manual processes that are burdens to the staff, and there's room for manual errors. I want to fully automate.
But if you have problems today, can you get out of this contract?
We probably can. We can do a performance assessment and yes, be able to get out of it.
I think there's got to be a way to go back.
It's in the RFP. We'll be able
In
to.
our expectations.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I make a motion to follow the staff and the finance committee's recommendation to go with the recommended list with Wells Fargo being on top of the list, and JP Chase and the rest to follow.
That's a motion by Mr. Juan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Guerra. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to item number 5. Consideration and approval of annual 12-month tree trimming services. This is they went out to bid. It was a one-bid vendor. So, do I have a motion? Guys, do I have a motion? This is just.
I make a motion to accept the
Okay.
recommendation.
Staff's recommendation.
Can I ask a question? How many bids were there?
Just one.
What's it cost?
It's 10% higher than last year, $257,000.
Did you apply the same criteria that last did, that we only have one bidder to let others know that they could bid or something?
We did some calls and found out that the other bidders weren't interested. They were tied up still in Louisiana and other places.
Okay, that explains it. Thank you.
All right, I had a motion by Mr. Guerra. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Villarreal. All those in favor? Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go to, which was that one that we were gonna table, John? Six.
All in favor, number 8.
Okay. Do I have a motion to table item 6?
Second.
I have a motion, I got a second, all those in favor? Aye, motion passes. All right, motion number 7. Consideration and approval to develop a policy to recover infrastructure costs for new developments or not to provide infrastructure that can be considered a subsidy that is passed on to the Brownsville PUB board ratepayers. Mr. Ahmad.
We have 3 options here, because this is going, the impact fee issue is going before the city commission. And I want to make the city commission aware of what the options this board has, okay? One is going to be to capture the cost incurred because of new development, to meet the new development. That's got to be paid either through increased rates, or through impact fees. And this board is going to have to make a decision as to, what's going to happen if the city commission does nothing, or if the city commission does not follow the recommendation to implement an impact fee of $3,100. there was issue earlier about purchasing land for a sewer plant. And like I stated, I'm not for purchasing anything or doing paying any expenses that has to do with future growth unless we have some kind of assurance that we're going to recapture the cost.
Mr. Mallon, wouldn't it be more appropriate to consider this after the city commission is active? That way we know exactly what we're working with?
Well, I think we need to let the city commission know where this board's going to stand, whether it's going to make recommendations to raise rates if we don't recapture the cost.
That's,
No, wait a second. If the city commission does not adopt the recommended 3,100, we have to raise rates, or we do nothing. Those are our options.
I think those are the issues that are going to be presented, have been presented to the city commission. They're in the process of
Well,
discussing.
I want the public to know and the city commission to know, and I hope
We're going to
my
have a
colleagues
public
will,
hearing on the 30th.
I hope my colleagues will express it here. I'm not going to vote, I'm just going to vote. I'm not going to vote to raise rates. I'm a ratepayer here to subsidize anyone.
I think your position is well known on the issue, and I think you're speculating on what's going to happen. I think the city commission needs to hear, has been hearing the information, and is aware of the situation that it's either one or the other. And, you know, you may be surprised, I may not disagree with you on this issue. But I have to give everybody, as mayor, the opportunity to present their sides, both from the developer standpoint and both from the PUB standpoint. We know that if we don't raise the impact rates, or raise rates, and or combination, and or one or the other, we're not going to be in a position to have any money for capital improvements. So I don't necessarily disagree with your position, but I just think that it's a bit premature in the sense that we're going to know within the next, I think, month and a half or month, what the city commission is going to vote on with regards to the impact rates.
Well,
I would say let's table this, but your point is well taken, Pat. I don't necessarily disagree with you. But I think that's a decision that the city commission is going to have to make based upon the information that's presented to it.
I, as a board member, have already made it known clearly that I'm not going to raise any rates to cover anybody's costs.
I don't think any city commissioner and or myself has made any decision or comment saying that we are going to raise rates.
No, but I think the city commission needs to know what the position of PUB is. That's my point.
Well,
Because in assessing what the body is going to do, the city commission is going to do, they need to understand that there's going to be an impact to their decision. That's going to require this board to make recommendations later on in the future to raise rates if they don't recoup the cost. Okay, and if this board doesn't make it known now, it's going to be very easy for the commission to say, hey, we're not going to do nothing, let PUB work.
well, but then that's an issue that the general manager is going to present to this board saying, I believe we need to recommend X, that being raising impact rates or raising ratepayers rates.
Before I finish here and then move on, I made it very clear earlier, purchasing land for a new sewer plant, for new development, I'm not for it. And bringing costs associated like that. Now, it's up to my colleagues here to make it known, yes, if they're willing to increase rates in the future or not, whether we pass a policy or not, so the commission knows where we stand. And I'm not going to raise rates to cover any development costs. None.
Mr. Chairman, I think you would be getting yourselves into some very difficult situation if you were to make statements that could be interpreted that you're going to be one way or the other without having presented to you what the issues are. And to, you know, to commit yourself to vote one way or another prior to having something actually presented to you, I would respectfully recommend that you know, we not take a position on.
I just think Mr. Ahumada was just trying to make, if I'm not mistaken, just trying to make the point that if the recommendation of the study is not taken by the city commission, we are gonna have to raise rates. And so your points will take.
I'd like to make a motion to table until after the city commission makes their decision.
I have a motion by Mr. Guerra, second by Mr. Herrera. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And I believe we are gonna, if I can get a motion, We discussed this in executive session.
I think you need to appoint, to refer this to your personnel, your committee.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, we're gonna come table that.
Which committee?
The personnel compensation.
Yeah.
Okay, so do I have motion to table?
Or refer it, actually, motion.
Do we have to refer it, or do we have to, can we table it and then?
Yeah, you can table it.
No, we were gonna refer it to the committee, that's what we had
Yeah,
agreed
you
to.
can.
Okay, do I have a
You
motion?
should refer it to a committee for.
The existing committee.
Further study, to an existing committee.
I so moved.
Motion by Mr. Guerra,
Second.
second by Mr. Guerra, those in favor? Motion passes. Do we have any question on the consent item agendas?
On the bid for concrete poles and stuff like this, is this to purchase?
Yes.
I don't have any problem.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve consent item agenda?
I so move.
Motion by Mr. Sanchez, second by Mr. Guerra, those in favor? There are no public comments